Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pleb. In tonight's story, we have another Justin Trudeau scandal. Yes, another Trudeau scandal. A Canadian member of parliament who stood up against the Uyghur genocide, who stood up against the Chinese government, is being threatened by the CCP. His family members are being threatened. Justin Trudeau did nothing about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to unpack this in this video. But yes, diplomats are in Canada. They're making threats against the members of parliament. This story is wild, ladies and gentlemen. But before we start today's video, ladies and gentlemen, please consider subscribing to my channel. Bill C11's here. Justin Trudeau is censoring the internet with Bill C11. The way we combat this, subscribe to my channel, put on post notifications so you see when my videos go out. Don't let Justin Trudeau and the communist government decide what you see on YouTube. You decide. Subscribe to my channel. Let's start tonight's story. Tonight's story starts with CSIS telling MP Michael Chong that his family was being targeted by China due to him being vocally outspoken against the CCP and their genocide of the Uyghur Muslims. Yes, this triggered a debate in the House of Commons because members of parliament wanted to know, when did the Justin Trudeau government know about this? And what did they do to protect this member of parliament? Well, we got our first clip here in an exchange between Marco Mendicino and Michael Chong.
When was the public safety minister or his office first made aware that a PRC diplomat, Mr. Wei Zhou, was targeting me or my family?
Here comes the liar. Oh. He looks rattled.
This is the first occasion in which the member for Wellington Halton Hills has raised since this matter was brought to the attention of the public in this chamber. I want to express solidarity to him and to his family, and that we will continue to work with him and all parliamentarians to make sure that he and all parliamentarians get the support that they need. Mr. Speaker, since the outset, when we took the reins of government, we have been vigilant in fighting against foreign interference. We have put in place the people, the resources, the tools, and the oversight, as the Prime Minister just said, to defend our institutions. We will do that work together.
China literally interfered in our election.
Honourable members, that calling each other names is not parliamentary language. The honourable member for Wellington.
Mendicino looks rattled.
Mr. Speaker, the directive of September 10th, 2019 is clear. It directs the service. It says that the service has a duty to inform the minister of any such matter as is relevant to enable the minister to fulfill the minister's accountabilities as outlined in the CSIS Act. In general terms, the minister expects to be consulted or informed regarding any action on which a deputy head would normally involve his or her minister. So my question again is very simple. When did the public safety minister or his office first become aware that a PRC diplomat was targeting a member of this House and their family?
Let's go. Let's go.
The Honourable Minister.
Watch Mendicino rattled.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my colleague across the aisle for highlighting the directives that this government has put in place to ensure transparency and accountability around decisions which are taken independently by our nonpartisan professional public servants when it comes to which classified information is made public and which must remain classified to protect people that work in that space. Mr. Speaker, this is not a partisan issue. We must all work together to defend the institutions, the communities, and most importantly...
How rattled did Marco Mendicino look in that exchange with Michael Chong? As if he's just lying yet again. Marco Mendicino, the legendary liar, the man who just can't stop lying. The Minister of Public Safety, who's done nothing to keep us safe. And apparently, he can't even keep the MPs safe from threats from diplomats within this country. What an absolutely wild story. Right after this, though, Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre got into a debate, and they sparred it out. Let's watch the clip.
2 years ago, in July of 2021, the government had a CSIS document showing that an agent for the dictatorship in Beijing was arranging to sanction and punish the family of a Canadian MP because of how he voted on the floor of the House of Commons. And yet for 2 years, this Prime Minister's government kept that agent accredited with diplomatic immunity, allowing him to abuse countless other Canadians of Chinese origin. How can we believe anything he says about protecting our national interests?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
That's simply not true. It's actually irresponsible to suggest that any government might sit on a matter of such seriousness. Based on briefings that I received following yesterday's story, I know that steps have been taken to protect members when they could be in the spotlight of foreign actors because of the legitimate work they do in this place. And our security agencies will continue to independently do this important work, and I have indeed followed up directly with the member for Halton Hills to reassure him on this.
The Honourable Leader
Get him, Pierre. Get him, Pierre.
And forgive the member for Halton Welland for not feeling reassured. Nobody should feel reassured. Prime Minister says my question was false. What was false in it? We know there was a July 2021 document 2 years ago showing that an agent for the dictatorship in Beijing was threatening the family of a Canadian MP because he had stood up for human rights on the floor of this House of Commons.
Oh my God.
Now, normally that would be a criminal offense for anyone to do, but this individual has immunity granted by this government. Has the Prime Minister taken away that immunity and kicked the diplomat out of Canada?
Why are diplomats making threats against Canadians? Why is that? How is that allowed?
Mr. Speaker, I think outside of this House where there is extraordinary partisanship and sometimes personal attacks, I think most Canadians understand that no government of any stripe would see a direct threat on a member of this Parliament and their family and sit on it and not ensure anything was acted. That's simply unworthy of anyone sitting in this House to make those kinds of accusations. I can assure the members opposite that we continue to take any threats seriously.
Absolutely.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I have to confess, before 48 hours ago, I would have agreed that no government would ever sit on threats of this nature over 2 years long.
2 years.
But unfortunately, what we've learned is that is exactly what this Prime Minister did. Right. The government knew in July of 2021 that an agent acting for the dictatorship in Beijing, accredited to work at the consulate in Toronto, was threatening a family member of a Canadian parliamentarian. And the Prime Minister's government knew about it and did absolutely nothing. Why?
That is just...
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
God.
Mr. Speaker, that is simply not true. I spoke with a member for Wellington Halton Hills earlier today, ensured that he got a briefing from our top security officials to ensure that he gets all the information he needs. A core part of CSIS's mandate is to provide briefings and take action whenever a threat exists, and those same top security officials have confirmed that whenever there is action to take, they do so.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
And yet he did absolutely nothing other than to hold a meeting with the MP after the information became public. He wasn't interested in protecting Canadians. He was interested in protecting his political reputation, Mr. Speaker. He has the power to kick this diplomat out.
Kick him out.
Think of it. If a Canadian had threatened an MP or his family over a vote in the House, that Canadian would be in jail.
Yes.
This individual can't be arrested because of diplomatic immunity granted by this government, something the Prime Minister could take away anytime he wants. Why is he keeping this agent in our country threatening our people?
Yeah. Damn. Why is this diplomat allowed to threaten Canadian citizens and stay in this country? This is absolutely crazy. How was this even allowed? Justin Trudeau then goes on to take questions from the press regarding this latest scandal and why he wasn't protecting Canadian citizens and Canadian members of parliaments from threats from diplomats within Canada. How is this even allowed? Let's see Justin Trudeau answer questions from the press.
Over the past couple of days, we've done a lot of follow-up to find out exactly what happened and where
2 years
various people knew at different
you
points
held
in the
on to
system.
this information.
We all knew after the genocide motion that China made a public thing about sanctioning Michael Chong 2 years ago because of his strong leadership on condemning the violence against the Uyghurs. CSIS made a determination at that point that they should give Michael defensive briefings, which they did over the following years a number of times on issues surrounding this concern that China had and engagement.
When he talks low like that, he's lying.
Monday morning,
that
2
low,
days ago,
don't look at him.
We asked what happened to that information. Was it ever briefed up out of CSIS? It was not. CSIS made the determination that it wasn't something that needed to be raised to a higher level because it wasn't a significant enough concern. That's why they chose to give direct defensive briefings to the MP in question, but they didn't feel that it was necessary to do anything else. Going forward, we're making it very, very clear to CSIS and all our intelligence officials that when there are concerns that talk specifically about any MP, particularly about their family, those need to be elevated, even if CSIS doesn't feel that it's a sufficient level of concern for them to take more direct action. We still need to know about it at the upper government levels.
When did you make that directive?
We are making that directive now. We are making it clear to CSIS that when it involves an MP, even if it's not hitting a threshold that they would previously think needs to be highlighted, we should still know.
And when did you learn specifically about this information about Mr. Chong?
I learned that following the media reports on Monday morning, I asked CSIS, what is this briefing? What is this supposed story that is out in the media from a leak? What do we know about it? We then retraced over the past couple of days what this was, that CSIS knew about certain things, didn't feel that it reached a threshold that required them to pass it up out of CSIS or
he's throwing CSIS under the bus again, isn't he?
More than just a defensive briefing to Mr. Chong a few months later and then repeat in. But obviously, when it comes to an MP's safety, when it comes to their family's safety, we need to know, even if it's a mild concern or something that wouldn't otherwise hit a threshold that CSIS would feel it needs to be.
So you weren't told.
Wait, Justin. So what you're trying to tell us is that CSIS produces a document about a threat against an MP and their family because of the way he voted in the House of Commons? And you knew nothing about it. Is this a joke? Let's go to Twitter and see what they think of Justin Trudeau's answers in the press conference there. We'll start with Vitamin D. He can't even make steady eye contact when answering questions. So many lies. Let's go to Glenda. Are we expected to believe this proven liar? Not a effing chance. What about Ryan Garrettson? Is the media going to let him get away with this? Of course they will. Or how about Tokyo Rosie? He be talking, he be lying. Or Troy, what a disgusting liar. I think we're all on the same page that Justin Trudeau definitely knew about it. But how about we go see what Pierre Poilievre had to say to the press about Justin Trudeau?
Steps with the Michael Chong situation. He raised a question of privilege yesterday in the House of Commons. The Speaker is examining that. Are you looking for any further investigation into who knew what when? Because the Public Safety Minister and the Prime Minister haven't been clear about when exactly they learned of this.
We want the Public Safety Minister to tell us when he knew and when any other members of the Liberal Cabinet know. When did Bill Blair know? He had been Public Safety Minister. When did the Prime Minister and his office know? I find it very hard to believe that CSIS would produce a document about a Canadian MP's family being threatened because of a vote on the floor of the House of Commons and that they wouldn't tell the Prime Minister or his top public safety minister. Wow. This is insane. You know, if any one of you were to threaten the family of an MP because of a vote in the House of Commons, you'd be in jail. This guy's not only not in jail, he's in Canada with diplomatic immunity. Immunity granted him by Justin Trudeau. Trudeau's not only keeping this agent in our country, by credentialing him, he's giving him diplomatic immunity, which means he could not be prosecuted under criminal code provisions the same way any other Canadian would be. In other words, this person has a higher status above the law in our country than anyone who's a citizen of Canada because Trudeau credentials.
I know I've said this a million times before, but Canada is broken. From our economy to the inflation to record long lines now for food banks in Toronto, everything in this country is broken. The Chinese government have infiltrated our elections. There's Chinese police stations in Canada. Our country has become an absolute joke. We have diplomats in this country now that are threatening members of parliament and getting away with it because they have diplomatic immunity, and Justin Trudeau has not expelled him from the country. What a mess this country is, ladies and gentlemen. My God. Either way, how about you guys let me know in the comments what you guys think? Do you guys trust Justin Trudeau that he knew nothing about these CSIS documents? I'm going to suspect that most of you guys probably don't, but I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What do you guys think about this scandal? What do you think about Pierre Poilievre standing up to Trudeau, calling him out? Let me know in the comments, guys. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video today, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. Trudeau must go. See you at the next one.